Hey, welcome out to tonight's weekly training webinar for all the members of Tax Sale Support. We love having you here.
Yeah, exactly. We want to but we want to welcome all of the new members. Of course, welcome back all of our members that have been with us for quite a while. We appreciate you having you here.
Yeah, I'm Ferre. That's Swenson, and together we have Tax Sale Support.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do these trainings every week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that would be, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. And each week we try to talk about a new topic and go over new things each week so that they're essentially new training and new information.
Yeah, so for tonight, we want to talk about a specific topic. But before we do that, let's get into news or announcements.
Yeah, really our biggest news is just going to be the 3-day boot camp that we have coming up in Las Vegas next month, October 11th through the 13th. We had a member that had to cancel, and so we have a couple of tickets left. We have some tickets left. If you're interested in attending, go ahead and let us know. We've went ahead and we have a discount. It's a pretty good offer there for members of Tax Sale Support.
Yeah, the cost is pretty low to attend, and it should be a great opportunity to spend 3 full days going through stuff, looking at property. We look forward to doing a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the topic for tonight is something we're going to talk about that really, I don't know if they existed even 10 years ago.
Definitely not like they do today. There was a couple of them out there, but they've really started to grow over the last few years, couple of years. And what we're talking about are land banks. Now, land banks are kind of a unique thing, like Shade said, and they work a little bit different than your normal over-the-counter investment.
Yeah, in fact, land banks, I'm sure, came about through necessity. Counties all over the country struggled to collect all their delinquent property taxes, and I think it's getting easier for them now than it has been in the past. In the past, I think it was even more difficult, but some counties had so much of this property that they couldn't really manage it, and in fact, the problem with all of this is it all represents unpaid property taxes, and the county's not in the business of holding land. And so they needed help dealing with some of the property they had and trying to get rid or sell some of the property they had.
Yeah, now when it comes to land banks, a lot of this is going to include things like tax foreclosures. So people that didn't pay their property taxes, the property was eventually issued to the county or to the city. But this could also include donation properties. It can include old city-owned properties that were taken by the city for different types of liens or abandonment. So there's a lot of different things in addition to just tax sale properties, but a majority of them will come from that, but that's not all they come from.
Yeah, now these land banks are generally set up as nonprofit organizations that help to manage this county held inventory and really can help on varying degrees or help at varying degrees depending on the county that we're dealing with, but some of them are very involved and can provide a ton of property information and details. Some of them are kind of like an additional sales branch of the county government.
Yeah, exactly. These are nonprofits that have been set up. They follow certain state guidelines for these as far as how they operate, how they run. And they can be run both by the county governments, but also by city governments as well. So we've seen some of these land banks that are set up in cities, particularly larger cities where there's a lot of different types of properties available, and the city has a lot of city-owned land as well.
Yeah, in fact, like I said, I think they came about probably just because counties needed them with how much inventory they had. But what has been nice about it is that the land banks in many cases are able to provide a lot of additional property information and help about properties that the county either was too busy to provide before, or maybe they didn't have. They're far more into these properties that are available because that's their primary purpose. That's what they do.
Yeah, well, land banks are the one option where you can actually get keys to a single family home.
Yeah, they're tax sale properties with keys.
Yeah, in fact, some of them I was looking through some today where they've gone through the quiet title process. Some that'll offer them with quiet
even
title.
insurable.
Yeah, some that'll offer them as deed. It just kind of depends on how they are, and they're all going to be different between state to state. Some will allow you to submit bids on them, or some will have a minimum bid amount. Like I was looking in Detroit, for example, and they have, their inventory, but then they also have auctions where the opening bid starts at $1,000 on these different types of homes. And so, it's going to depend on that particular area, on what kind of deals they have. Also some of them are going to be targeted more to people that are looking to buy homes for their own home. Like first-time buyers, people in situations to buy a home, but then there's also a lot of them that will cater to investors as well.
Yeah, beyond that, they also tend to focus on local residents if they can, but really what I think is primarily important to them, maybe even more than trying to help local residents, is helping the county further its goals of of collecting property taxes and just making that whole system work. So I think that they will sell property. I think their goal, though, if you're somebody that wants to buy the property and you have great plans for things that will help that area, if you had plans to do some kind of a renovation on a property to renew it, they're the type of group that you could submit that information to, and it could be very persuasive in who they offer the property to.
Yeah, most of the things that we teach is for investors, but with these land banks, there's really is opportunity not only for investors, but also for people that are just looking to buy homes. They're not going to be in everywhere, but in the areas that do have them, they do have things, pretty nice set up where some will have financing programs, some of them will have different types of grants. You could buy some of these homes if you're willing to do the fix up for $1. So it kind of depends on, the type that you are, but this is one option out there for people that maybe aren't, ready, don't have the funds to start investing yet, but do want to try to get their own home. This could be an option to look at.
Yeah, and they do play an interesting role in that they are tax sale properties, but these are also more involved than counties generally are, and these properties have already been foreclosed on, long before most of these land banks ever get them. So, when the county is offering them in the beginning, there's always still, that chance of redemption there. But these properties are generally ones that are long past that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All of these have gone through the foreclosure process, and most of them have been deeded from the county over to the land bank. They could still be in the county's name, and the county will, the land bank will deed them over. But really the opportunity with them is quite big, quite large.
Yeah. So now, where can you find land banks? Fortunately for all of you, you automatically have access to a pretty big collection of land banks right now that we currently have in the over-the-counter section on the website.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably about 150 of them or so, and we're always looking for new ones. In fact, I was going through them today. And updating some of them, because sometimes the links to them will be on the county website, and so they'll change that link. And so we're updating a couple of the smaller ones and going through them. But if there's any new land banks, we'll go ahead and post them and make them available.
Yeah, so what we'd like to do now is go and take a look at some of the opportunities that are available right now with some land banks right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these land banks actually have some pretty nice map features and like map search tools where you can use different types of online searches to find the properties, look at the overhead maps, evaluate them. And so we'll go through and look at some of the different types. There's also some that just have nothing but a list. And so with those type of areas, then we're going to, take that list and find the parcel search tool and in that county website and start searching some of those property records.
Okay, so let me just get this pull over here.
So the first thing we'll do is just go to, the website, taxliesupport.com. And then once we've logged in, we're just going to go ahead and go to the list center, to the OTC database. So once we get to the OTC database, of course, we have the tax lien list, tax deed list, and then we have the over-the-counter land banks listed there as well. So if we click on that, it'll take us there. Also, in the over-the-counter sections, if there is land banks within there, we'll have a link that'll take you over to the land bank as well. So, to get started, we can go ahead and start looking at some. Let's quickly, I was kind of interested in this. Let's go ahead and click on, Little Rock real quick, since it's one of the first ones there. Arkansas sells real estate through their Commissioner of State Lands. That's how they do their over-the-counter deeds, but there is properties located here in Little Rock. Now, as we scroll down, we can see the land bank property inventory there from August. So if we click on that, this is going to be an example of a PDF list that we would go ahead and download. And we're not going to spend a ton of time on actually looking at these properties, but just wanted to kind of show you some of these because we can see here where some of these will have title insurance policy available.
Yeah.
And so you can see the purchase prices there range from around $1,000 up to $16, $30, $20, $35. So there's all kinds of different, there's one for $100. So there's different types, but you can see some of them are offering as
a quick claim deed or a quiet title, no, quick claim deed.
Yeah, quick claim deed. Some.
That one has a structure too, you can see.
Yeah. Some have title insurance, some will have offer as a quick claim deed. It'll kind of depend on the property. But if we were interested, we could go ahead and start looking through some of these properties and see if there's anything that interests us.
Yeah, really, it's an interesting list here of properties that we can see.
And I believe they'll have they'll put out these every month or so with the new list with any of the properties that are currently available. So, even though Arkansas, this is kind of an example of an area, Little Rock's a big city. These are properties that the city has gotten through various means. Some of them could be tax sale, but a lot of them, we can see are through federal, through city, how they acquired these properties and essentially are just selling them through the land bank and having that purchase price. So with that, we just check the purchase price, see what the value is, check the bid to value ratio, the sell to value ratio, and determine if it's going to be a good investment or not.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can get a title insurance policy on it, automatically in a way is, saving you money because it's going to be giving you a different type of deed.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really handy, with some of these properties, if you could buy them automatically knowing, all of these, especially some of these ones that are valued as high as, 20,000, have it too. For, the one that's 106,000, they're giving you a quick claim deed, but that's because it's a structure and you're probably going to have to go through quiet title on it because that's how structures are. That one's also a quick claim deed.
You see,
that's a $75,000 one.
You see one, there's a commissioner's deed. It's kind of
oh yeah, right there. Commissioner's deed for $3,000. Yeah, interesting.
But, this is one that we'd actually have to go and pull out the parcel search tools and start going through. So we'll look at some different ones. But we wanted to kind of show you that just to show you that there is a lot of them out there that will offer it with, that is one advantage, is that we're not looking at that.
And then you're wondering if you can submit offers on those prices. It probably depends here.
Yeah, it's going to completely depend. Some of them are going to be minimum bid. I think these are just the buy it now prices.
Yeah, I think that is just the buy it now price. You kind of have to read the rules for the properties. In a lot of cases, they'll have set prices for these properties.
Yeah, absolutely. With every one of these land banks, they're completely going to be different on how they run it, how they handle it, especially as we're looking from state to state. So, you're going to want to go through and review all of the rules within that area because, maybe they would allow offers, maybe they don't. It's kind of going to depend on the individual county or land bank.
Yeah, so let's see here. Now, here, let me just back this up again so we can go back here to this page here.
And we can go down a little further and, let's check Fulton real quick. They're in Georgia. Now, when we take you, we're going to take you straight to the land bank page, and then from here, you're going to have to navigate to find out where the properties are at because we want to take you directly. So we can see over to the right-hand side, there's available property inventory. If we click on that, it will have us click on another little link to click on the inventory, and a lot of them will pull up a map similar to this. Now, once we get to this map on the right, you can see where it says view all properties. If we click on that, then it'll go ahead and pull up a map of all the properties. Now, one thing I was looking at as well is there's different types of properties by status. And so, you're going to want to look at the ones that are essentially available or for sale under this category.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, we can see that there's they have some that are for sale, some that are available, and then they have some that are reserved for the land bank.
Yeah. So if we were to go up here at the very top, we can see where it says filter. Then we can go down to the property classification or property status. Somewhere there, does it say? So we can click on there, available, and then click apply up at the top. And we would be able to see which properties are available. Now, on the right-hand side, you have a list of the properties. You can click on view on map, and it'll go ahead and take you to wherever the property is located. Also, with all of these, they have a layer system as well. So you can go ahead and click on the layer system and add the satellite and at least get kind of an idea of where it's at. Now, I didn't spend a ton of time in Atlanta looking, but I thought it was interesting that they had property there in Atlanta. So, but you could go ahead and click on it. And then if you click on the view full details, it'll kind of depend on the type, but a lot of times they'll have details within there. So you can see this is part of the Sheriff Marshal Deed Inventory. And so check out the rules, we'd go ahead and click on that. So with this particular one, I'm not sure. A lot of times they'll have the bid amount there listed that you can buy it for. They don't have that amount listed here. So this may be a situation where you submit offers, would probably actually have to click on or contact that department to find out exactly how we're going to do it.
Interesting.
That one says something about it's not currently available, but it'll be added to this listing after approved by the LA Board of Directors. So essentially, this is probably one going through the process of becoming a land bank property that they can sell or make available.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, with the filters. We could, we could be looking for, certain types of property or just a vacant lot.
Yeah.
If we wanted to save ourselves some time there, if we wanted. I kind of like the maps. I think they're handy.
Yeah, there's a lot of these land banks that have kind of set it up. The land banks are using a lot of this. In fact, this exact map system is used in quite a few different ones. So, once you kind of get a hang of how to use this, use the layers, use the filters, you know, they're going to be very similar from one to the next.
Yeah.
And look, there's different, believe when I was looking earlier, there's different types of structures available as well.
Yeah, so you can see too, they have they classify them a little bit differently on these. You know, some of these are reserved for land banking, some of these are for sale.
Yeah.
And, you know, some are available.
Yeah, kind of depending on how this particular one is done.
Yeah.
It's not usually like this where there are kind of several different types coming on, but
Still good properties everywhere you look.
yeah.
You know, that looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Go check out another one.
Yeah, let's go check out the next here.
Okay. So if we go down, let's check out Illinois since it's right next one down. Let's go check out Cook County real quick. And, you know, like the last one, it's going to take us to their main web page, and then we're going to look for where we can search property. I think it's underneath apply by property, if I remember right.
Yeah, let's see.
Look at that. They're giving away a home. That's something, you know, so if you want to apply for their home, they are giving away a home. Now, we could either, what are you looking for as a home buyer, or we're going to be either a residential developer or rehab. Essentially, theirs is how we're going to look for those properties. So we're going to click on that.
Which one do you think?
The residential developer.
Yeah.
That's essentially buying either building lots or buying one of their homes to rehab.
Yeah.
So you can see where it says the interactive property viewer. I believe that's where you click on, yeah.
And I'll go ahead and accept that, and then we're going to click on view all properties. And we can see, oh, they've got a lot.
Yeah, they've got to grip them.
Wow, look at that.
And they have all kinds of different types as well. You know, residential land. You know, they have the minimum offer amounts there listed. You know, some range from about $1,000 on up. In fact, go all the way down and go to page 2. Because remember that one for 800 I showed you?
Yeah.
Kind of scroll up and let's look for it. Should be kind of, I think it's up a little higher right there. Miller Circle.
Yeah, oh yeah, right here.
Yeah, this one for 800,000 was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we can see, yeah, it says, you know, commercial structure, you know, Madison Village, minimum offer. Whoops, I don't want to apply. So $800,000 is the minimum offer, but as you can see,
yeah, it looks like a big car dealership.
Yeah, some kind of a commercial. Yeah, it was previously it looks like a Isuzu dealership. So yeah, it's special commercial structures, what it has there. It is a nice building though.
Yes.
You know, it's a nice piece of property there, but yeah, a lot of money owed on it. Well, although probably not a lot compared to what
to the property's value. I mean, you would think in that kind of that type of structured building, whether they're putting in a new dealership or convert it for something else.
Yeah.
And then of course you can do the same type of things where we're filtering it. We're adding layers so we can see satellite images. We can click on, you know, inventory type. We can click on neighborhood and municipality, and could work. It could really make a big difference. Is there's certain areas, you know, just watching the news that we're probably not going to want to buy property in, you know, in that area of town, and so we're going to use that, you know, in as far as finding property that are, you know, in better areas or more, you know, more expensive areas, kind of based on what we know about Chicago. So maybe we would look in certain areas of the town to see what type of properties are on that area.
Yeah, in fact, I wonder what they have. Well, actually, let's see here. We can look at any kind of land. We could look at vacant land certificate.
I'm not sure.
I wonder if those are ones that just have liens on them still.
Yeah, I wonder if you can buy the lien. That's like an over-the-counter lien. I don't know. doubt it, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see how we go with vacant land here. And then we can also sort by inventory type, featured property, and descending, ascending.
You know, but you can click on view on map on any of these properties and it'll kind of zoom you right there to where the property's located. So it's pretty easy to find where they've at because they've done, you know, most of the work for you.
Yeah, and so we could
Go up to the top and click on the layers if you wanted to see satellite image.
there we go.
Let's see, is that vacant lot right there?
Yeah, it's a pretty quick tool. You know, it gets through the properties pretty quickly, and so you can actually.
Well, and any of those ones that don't have, you know, photos, it's still going to take you right there, so you can see what it is.
Wow, there's a ton of property here too. You know, I'm sure a lot of this stuff has pretty good value. You know, it's just a tremendous amount of inventory. Let's see here.
Yeah, well, you really could, you know, spend a lot of time, and that's probably where you try to target a certain area.
Yeah.
You know, because there is enough property available throughout that.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the green properties.
I wonder if those are certificates are available.
Let's see, vacant land certificate.
I wonder what that certificate means. I wonder if there's just a tax certificate on
Yeah,
it.
it must just mean there's a tax lien on the
You know,
property.
it's probably Cook County. This is probably really connected with their Treasury Department.
Yeah.
So, you know, people can see which one has tax liens on it. And then you could click on, oh, the orange ones are, no.
You know, so these ones are all.
Some of them are vacant land certificates, some are just vacant land.
Yeah.
So the ones that are vacant land, you probably do the offers on.
Yeah. Most of these are certificates, I think. At least most of these that I click on.
That would filter those ones out then if we were looking for deeds.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, yeah. You can view the full details on a property here.
Let's see, the Cook County Land Bank has acquired the tax certificate as an option of taking the.
Oh, it's over the counter then.
Look at that. You can option of taking this property.
Yeah, I'm taking it to deed if you're interested. So basically say the Cook County Land Bank has acquired the tax certificate to this parcel and is the option of taking this property to deed. If you're interested in purchasing this property, please apply by clicking on the link on the upper right corner of the page. Please, to learn more about the tax certificate program. So basically it's an over-the-counter tax lien.
Where the county already owns it, takes the deed sale, and you probably get it, you know.
Yeah. So they have the option to do that. That's interesting. There's just a ton of property there, and a ton of opportunity also with the liens too. The percentage on the liens probably isn't bad.
You know, I'm wondering if you do a percentage or if you're pretty much just getting the deed.
Yeah,
Like
actually, you probably are.
Not, you know, they're not going to go through the foreclosure process on every single tax lien they own unless they're sending it to a deed auction or you're requesting it, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not going through the process of working on the foreclosure or the cost that it goes involved.
Yeah, you're paying off all the liens to foreclose on it, probably all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
probably where that minimum $4,500 comes in. You know, if it's, let's say the property taxes are $800 a year or $1,000 a year, it's been delinquent for 4 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's a lot of other ones we could check out.
Yeah.
So let's try, well, let's see, we've got Indiana. Let's check out Indianapolis. Now let's see where the properties are. They've got a property map.
Browse properties.
And they've also got the property map there, probably either one of them.
Let's see what happens. There we go. So now we can see.
You can click on view all featured properties, which sometimes will have a few. Usually I just click on view all properties on the right.
What is that? Is that like a whole neighborhood or something? That kind of looks weird.
I don't know.
You know, I just want to see what this is, because the image on it looks kind of bizarre, like it is a whole
I
neighborhood.
think it's probably just that lot. They're just highlighting it all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is true. It is just the one lot. All right, let's view all the properties here. And yeah, this one is set up. I think the same company must be setting up a lot of these things.
Yeah, they're all, you can see they're all done by the same system.
Yeah, so we've got a mix here. Well, this one's a residential building. Let's see what details this one has. And
So essentially it says they acquired it, you know, through the Marion County tax sale, has a deed on the property and essentially available.
yeah, it says, you know, title companies may require a quiet title action or additional fees to ensure the title at closing. But yeah, they've even got the interior photos here on this one. So
Yeah, well, in fact, a lot of these that have structures on them, not only will have the photos, but you can actually schedule a time to have you or a handyman or somebody you hire, your contractor, go out there and do the evaluations. You know, I was looking at one of the areas where, you know, some of them have already gone through and done, like had a contractor do an evaluation, and then you go through and do your own evaluation, you know, as well. They kind of give you an idea of what their estimate is. But looking at some of them, I thought, well, that kind of is a high estimate. I think that if we were to go in there and, you know, you could do it for less.
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting here. Let's see.
Let's see, some have sell pending.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you could filter them out if you know, if we're just looking, if we're, you know, trying to filter some of those out. Look up the ones that are just available or.
Oh, they've got 600 properties in there though. You know, so let's see. They do have a lot of sell pendings too. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's where you kind of filter it out to.
Yeah, yeah, but we are starting to get into you know, there's structures and stuff on here as well.
There's one for, it's probably kind of junky, but there's a home for 3,500 there.
Yeah, let's see what this one looks like. Not really many details here about it. Just that information here. Yeah, I'll bet we could find some pretty good stuff going through these. I mean, you know, we're only looking at, you know, what, 25 of these at a time, and you know, there's over 600 of them here. You know, so it would take quite a while here. Just BEP slated. I don't wonder what that means. BEP slated.
I looked it up earlier. I can't remember. Some means something. Duh. Means something.
Yeah, it means something. Well, I was gonna look here. Sale pending on this one for 12,000. Let's see what if they've got any information on it. And let's see.
As far, you know, we have a question about the land banks, you know, and a buy it now price or can submit a lowball offer. It's going to be completely dependent upon the individual land bank. A lot of them are going to have the minimum price. That's what essentially what's available for. Some will have you submit an offer. So, you know, there's not like one general rule for land banks. It's going to be completely up to how the state has set them up and how that individual county essentially handles it.
Yeah, so in some places the answer would be yes. F what? Thank you. BEP slate means demolition. Yeah, that is good to know. Yeah, in some cases though, you can submit, offers to land banks, maybe, and then in other cases though, they have set prices, where they have them set, so you find it both ways.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on the land bank, and some of them really, have a lot of options for investors. We found a couple that, are kind of not as helpful to investors, which we always thought was stupid. But then some of those areas don't have as many properties available as well.
Yeah, there is a ton of opportunity out there in this. I mean, just within some of these areas, just the one land bank alone has a lot of property in it. So, and it's amazing that there are hundreds of these land banks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for instance, let's see. Here's one they have listed is available here. You can see here, 1840 Minnesota Street, available for $29,000.
It's more expensive than a lot of them, so I wonder if it's pretty clean.
Let's see. Nope. Well, it is boarded up. It has new siding on the outside.
Yeah,
But
I'd bet it's better condition inside, I would think.
Probably. What I would love to look for here would be large tracts of land. I'll bet we could do that here, through the filters, or maybe with vacant land. I don't know if we'd be able to limit it to just large tracts, but those are always kind of exciting to be able to find some bigger pieces of land.
Yeah.
If we go back to the very back of this and look, all of these stuff.
You'd filter it through one of the filters and filter it for land, and that way you could at least not have to try to look through the whole list. Also filter the ones that are available versus the ones that are set up for demolition or not available, sell pending, because you're going to look through a list of 600 like that.
Available, you could go, I don't know if there's a certain kind we want to look for.
See if there's any commercial vacant land, commercial vacant lot.
And then we're going to hit apply. So we're looking for available and commercial vacant. Oh, that's actually still a lot of lots there available. Now let's see. Let's look at. Let's see. So 3,500. 3,500. These are each available for 3,500. Ooh, asking price of 750. Oh.
Click view map.
Yeah, let's see what that is.
Click on the satellite layer so we can get some image. Looks just kind of like a side lot, actually. I don't think it is commercial. I think that's residential.
Yeah.
It might be zone commercial because this is a multi like duplex area.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably the reason why.
Yeah.
What about that one for 26? Click view map right there.
Let's see. That one actually is a vacant lot, it looks like.
Yeah, it's right there on Fairfield Avenue.
Yeah, that one actually
another
is.
$750 one. Right there where you're now.
Let's see.
Right across from Liquors Unlimited.
Yeah, it is right across from Liquors Unlimited. Yeah, you can see it there. It looks like it's a fairly small lot, although it's kind of, hard to see the details there. It's a pretty small lot.
Right here as well, if we did find one that we were interested in, we would also go and do what we traditionally do with tax sale investing, where we take the parcel number, we look up the property, we check the GSI map to see what the lot lines are. We look at the tax history.
Yeah. So if we were looking for, let's say, a commercial piece here, what we would start looking for would be a place that looked like it was in an attractive location. That looked like, the size of the lot, if we wanted to target a lot like that. We'd be trying to look for the one that had the most appeal from a sales perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Just seeing that highway there, I was just like, man, if there's any property along that highway where you could put up, a billboard and collect monthly revenue off of it.
That would be awesome too. We can also just change that classification to look at other property types.
Yeah, we could look at, see if they have any commercial buildings, see what they have commercial building wise. Nothing.
No commercial buildings.
Look at, oh, I think I actually saw that underneath there. They said they weren't posting at this point. Look at, homes or whatever. Residential building.
And let's see here. So they've got 128 residential buildings listed here, starting from
3,500.
Yeah, about 3,500 and working their way up. Some of these don't look too bad though. Like 10,000.
Yeah, it's really where you're gonna go through and look at some of the pictures and maybe even send a handyman out to walk through the property and take photos for you. Really kind of figuring it out before buying it. Because
yeah, that one's 10,000. I want to click on it here. This next one's like 35,000.
We can go check out another area.
Let's see. I just want to see if they had any good photos here of this one. Let's see if we've got any good photos of one for 35,000. Oh, and it resets every time.
I think you gotta click back.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Let's jump in. Let's go look at the others. Well, we've got time left here.
Let's see. There's Kansas. Let's check out Kansas City there.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. The Wyandotte.
And scroll down. Maybe it's actually on the left-hand side where it says properties.
Oh yeah. Land bank inventory there. And it looks like a. All right, so it's good.
Yeah, this is actually a PDF, but I think more than one page.
Oh yeah. In fact, the many pages here.
Yeah, so this one here can we make it look a little bigger?
Yeah, let's zoom in here.
So this is a massive list. It's 66 pages, chock full of tons of property essentially available through their land bank. So.
And the map square footage, platted frontage.
This is one where I haven't read the rules, but they don't have a price listed there. So, probably would not 100% sure, but could very well take offers.
So appraised total that we've got there. So we can see different.
Well, one thing I noticed about it is it's almost on street. So those are all the properties available on 10th Street, 11th Street. And then, and after you get through the 10th, then it gets into names. So on, Haskell Street or whatever, it's going to be all H's, and it kind of goes in alphabetical order. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you've got the appraised value on the far right, but most of them have, values that are, pretty low.
Yeah.
And, then you see some of them that jump up and have values that, increased amounts.
Well, that's where like the $250 values we pass over until we get to the higher values. Like that $11,000, $24,000. There's plenty of property within here that have values, and it's a little easier too because you can see the size. So these ones that are small, if it's 2,000 square feet, that's going to be tiny. Well, if we're looking at 15,000 square feet or 20,000 square feet or 30,000, you know, it gives us a better idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
You can also kind of really get the full address there too as well. You know, you can see that's 3084 North 18th Street in Kansas City, you know, or whatever the address would be.
Yeah, boy, they've got that's a lot of inventory.
Yeah, it's a huge list. Yeah, there's 174,000. That's a big too, 74,000 square feet too.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, you know, that's
what's the number on the very far right?
acre and a half. I don't know. I have to look at the top and see.
Let's zoom up there here real quick and look again. It's the district. So, yeah, some of these are just basically in different districts. But what we would do from here is we would basically go and pull up the Wyandotte parcel search tool, so we could pull up, you know, some of these and get additional information here.
Yeah,
you know, on them.
You know, we're kind of running out of time anyway, but you know, that's kind of exactly what we do with that list, is start going through it, reviewing it. Let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit further. Let's check out, well, we could check out some of these Michigans real quick, because first of all, if we look at tax sale info, this one Michigan has a lot of different kinds of land banks. Here is the surplus plot properties, and if we scroll down to the bottom of here, we can see some of the different counties. If we click on any of these counties, you know, it'll pull up what property is currently available. They've just had their sale, so they'll probably be adding more properties to this list, but there's a lot of properties available through here in some of these counties that start at $100 or $200. So if you're looking to get started, you could find some of these properties that could be worth, you know, that could be worth buying. You know, there's one for $350 right there, that lot to the right. There's another one. So, you know, this is one option, but then also if we go back to the website, we can click on this Michigan Fast Track Land Bank, and that's going to take us to the state page. And then if we click on view properties underneath available properties, we'll pull up another type of map version similar to the ones that we are looking at that have properties available through the Michigan Fast Track Authority. Now, in addition to the Michigan Fast Track, a bunch of the little counties will have individual little land banks as well, where they'll offer some properties. So there's a lot of different options on the land, you know, with land banks when it comes to Michigan. And the fast track is actually statewide, so it's not just a particular county. You can search property within some counties, or you can search it within the whole state.
Yeah, okay, awesome.
So if you click on, you know, view on map or any of them, it's going to take you to where that property is, just like the other ones.
And yeah, we can actually see, you know, the coloration on these. You know, if we see one there, I think that one is industrial improved, or at least I'm trying to click on that. Oh yeah, there's the improvement there to it. Yeah, but you can see the piece of land here with it. Oh, let me back up.
And it'll have the same kind of a classification. You know, once they go ahead and have their, Michigan has their resale, then they'll probably post their 2019 properties that didn't sell on this list as well.
Yeah.
But what is kind of cool about this particular website is this isn't done by a particular county or state. By county or city. It's done by the state, so they've got property throughout the state on this one.
Oh, it's nice and handy here. Let's see here. A few of those, and we'll take a look at maybe one.
Check out one more.
Yeah.
Let's scroll down. Let's see, there's Missouri there. Kansas City, well, we checked out Kansas City, Kansas. Let's check out Kansas City, Missouri. I think we click on that property search.
Oh yeah, let's see here.
Why is it pulling up like that?
It's kind of interesting. It pulls it up in its own window. So let's go. Let's go to view all the Whoa.
Yeah, there's a group of properties here.
3,117 pieces of property.
Yeah, and I noticed that, you know, they have some that was pretty low opening bids, pretty low
really,
asking prices.
Yeah,
so,
really low asking prices.
You know, essentially you could either choose Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, you know, and look at some of the different inventory that's available on either side of the river.
Yeah, so yeah, we can actually let me zoom in just a little bit here so that we can see how the dots kind of break down.
See if there's any vacant lots near the Chiefs Stadium, and then you know sell it to somebody who wants to sell tickets.
Yeah, this is actually the kind of tool you could use to do that. You know, at least you could pick
see
out
what's
property.
Available.
Yeah, based on,
or you know, say whatever that campus is right there. If you want to find something around that or around a certain area, these maps do make it kind of nice to see where the property is located. You know, and where you can also kind of see where it's clustered at.
Yeah, so I can see the commercial vacants. We can see here. We were after that. You know, we've got several here, about 10 different properties here we could look at. You know, so each one of these yellow dots. And let's see here, or we could also filter them out and just look for them specifically. So we could go like this and under. Let's see here, property classification and commercial vacant, and then we could go to apply, and there's 169 pieces of commercial property that are vacant. And let's see, starting off here, asking price is only $82 on some of these.
Yeah.
Let's see here. See what the $82 is here. It's got to be a junk piece. Looks like
I think I did. It's a little strip there next to the Wendy's.
Let's see here. Let's see what they look like as they go up in price here a little bit. I can't really tell what that is.
We do have an address, though. We could look it up there, you know. In addition with that, if we were going to do additional due diligence, that's where we're going to pull the county record information up, look up GSI maps so we can see where the actual map lines are. These maps are helpful, but they're not going to give us the lot lines and the dimensions and the county records. And so that's where we're going to do that additional due diligence step to see what it is.
Yeah, I can't quite tell. Yeah, I can use vacant land. You know, the filters are pretty handy though, especially when there's a lot of property like this.
Yeah, should we check one more before we?
Yeah, although this one would be kind of fun to dig into there. They've even got some industrial vacant there too.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of these you could spend some pretty good time in and you know, find some pretty good properties. I mean, there's over 3,000 properties available here.
Yeah, starting is less than $100.
So, you know, with 3,000 properties, or at least we know with 3,000 properties, even at these asking prices, you know, these are going to be, you know, there's going to be good properties within here where even at the asking price, we're buying it for, you know, 5-10 cents, maybe even less on the dollar, where, you know, we're able to pick up these properties, build on it, turn around and wholesale it, whatever we want to do with it, but it gives us an opportunity to buy property for highly discounted cost.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, land bank requirements, application signed and dated, scope of work, background authorization, state or federal photo ID. Whoa. Proof of funds for rehab. That's funny. And that's this is an example too,
Well, and that's
each one
also
is
going to
unique.
be, and that's also going to be if you're doing rehab property.
Yeah.
It's going to be different requirements for a building lot than if what they don't want to do is they don't want to sell you a single family home for a discounted cost and then you do nothing with it.
Yeah, and suddenly
And
there's
it goes
another
right back
eyesore
to
and they
them.
say, oh,
Yeah.
dang this land bank that keeps selling us this junk. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and go down to, actually, let's look at one more up in Michigan. Let's look at Detroit real quick. That's going to be Detroit City. I could look at some others too, but I was thinking about this one.
Interesting.
Because this is one that I wanted to show. But they have auctions too. See how they have the buy it nows, they have like the auctions, they have open houses, you could actually go there and look at all these properties, and most of them are selling for $1,000, and they have kind of a scope of what needs to be done. But that's where I think you go in there and look at the condition, and some of them I almost kind of think they're just going through and highballing them everything as far as the rehabs that need to be done.
Wow.
But you can click on the auctions to see any of the auctions that are coming up, the properties that are coming up, all listings, if you want to see them all.
Oh yeah, you can see here they do have everything.
But what's different about these is you're actually going to be able to walk through the property, and you can see a lot of these do need some work on them. And that's where where finding the right one is going to be key to it. But if you do have the ability to walk through it, then that's where you're going to send somebody out there, if not yourself, a handyman or a contractor, to really kind of give you a good idea of what really needs to be done as far as the rehab, because that's something that they're going to want as well. Is they're going to want within 6 months to a year for essentially the home rehabs to be done and to be fixed up.
Yeah. And some of these look, some of these aren't too bad. Yeah, there's a listing there for it.
And you can see the starting bid, $1,000, and it's probably going to sell for $1,000.
Now, so here's something we should look at.
Yeah, that's the minimum cost.
So with that, they provide us with a couple of things here. We've got the minimum cost of repairs and then the property condition report. So the work scope contract
that's
here.
Higher than I've seen. Usually around 20 or 30.
Minimum cost of repairs there is going to be $72,000, which I'm assuming is like
that roof.
a completely new house.
Maybe I think that's I couldn't tell underneath that tree if it looked like it was broke.
Well, let's see here. We can get into you can figure out all of the material type. Although it was 72,000.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like
that's worth replacing. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. When you're going through here, they're having you replace.
Yeah,
all the
blown in insulation, R30, substrate sheathing, put in. They've got gutters, added. They've got replacing the windows and replacing the glass and putty. Then you've got the doors, and you've got doors and hardware here, storm hardware. Rebuild the front porch. Yeah, I mean, you do have a lot of work there. Definitely in depth. Let's see here. The other one is property condition report. And this is interesting. It kind of tells you.
That one's got structural fire damage.
Oh, it does, huh? Yeah, this tells you more about it.
That's the reason it's so high. But they're also going to be replacing the boiler, replacing the furnace, the air conditioning system, the water heater, brand new appliances, new kitchen, new carpet. I mean, they are going full blown,
Yeah, it's a new house.
yeah, essentially. So I think you could, where you don't have to use that. They're just giving you the estimate. That's where they will encourage you to come in, have your own done, estimate done, and then submit the offer.
Yeah.
But there is, a lot of opportunity out there in land banks that should at least give you guys kind of an idea of how they work, what's available on them, and kind of the whole process.
Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us tonight, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Talk to you again soon.